Welcome back to Home Sweet Home Cooking. I'm your host Rocky, filming again in my mother's kitchen. Today I'm going way outside my comfort zone, cooking a home cooked meal that I've never cooked before because it is not an American meal. I am doing biryani. I hope I got that right. So this will be my best biryani I ever made, also known as the first time I ever made biryani, because good or bad, it'll be the best I've ever made. I promise you that. So I've got all the ingredients assembled. I've got clear instructions, so I'm going to do this step by step. What goes into it is 2 pounds of chicken thighs I'm using, skinless, bone in, cut in half. You kind of want the bone in there, it adds extra flavor. 2 yellow potatoes, these are a little bit small, cut in half. If you're using regulars, I would say quarter them, but you want some potatoes, large chunks, not small dice. 4 cups of Basmati rice. You're going to need 6 tablespoons of oil. 5 medium onions sliced thin. It sounds like a lot, it is. I only got 4 because mine are a little bit bigger than medium. 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. 4 medium tomatoes, large diced. I just cut them into 8s. You're going to need 4 to 6 green chilies slit. All you do is you slit them down so they're still uncut at one end but split on the other. I've only got 3 because the people in my family, one of them is a chicken, and these are really hot. I took a bite of one. 1 cup of cilantro chopped, coriander leaves, 1 cup of mint leaves chopped. I reserved 10 to 15 for later, so I got a few mint leaves whole for later on. I kept the small ones. When you get to, also there's a plain curd yogurt. That's an optional thing. I'm using 2 different recipes. I got one from a lady who works at, her family owns one of the local stores by me. I got a recipe from her and I got a recipe from somebody else. I'm kind of doing what crosses over to both of them, making a few minor changes. So I'm skipping the yogurt. And when we get to the rice, when we start boiling that, and the Biryani Masala. It's a premix. This is the Shan brand. It is the special Bombay Biryani. They were out of the regular Biryani mix, so I got the Bombay. There's not too much of a difference. I did notice when I read the package for the regular Biryani, it didn't have potatoes. The Bombay did have potatoes, so I think that might be more appropriate. Anyway, 4 green cardamom pods, 2 inches of cinnamon, and 4 cloves. Option also is in the rice of 1/2 teaspoon of shahjeera, or as we would call it, caraway seeds. I'm not putting that in. Like I say, that's different in 2 of the recipes. Heavily salted, 2.5 tablespoons of salt. The rice is going to boil in 2.5 liters of water. We'll get to that in a minute. Then you add in your rest of the mint leaves and kewra water, which is a rose water. Just a little bit of a dash, 2 capfuls on the top on the final stage of cooking. So to start, we need to rinse the 4 cups of rice. 4 cups of basmati rice. I'm going to rinse it and then I'm going to soak it. Just put it in some water, let it soak, and while it is soaking, I'm going to go ahead and start with the rest of the meal. All this is going to be done on an over stove, so I'll meet you over there. So I've got the rice in water soaking. I'm not sure what the purpose of the pre-soak is, but we're going to find out. I know basmati is a little bit different rice. It's a longer grain. It kind of puffs up and quite a bit longer than what we're used to for a long grain white rice. So that's going to be setting off to the side. Over here, I've got the burner on high for now. I'm going to put in 6 tablespoons of oil. And to that, when that gets warm, I'm going to add the onions, the whole batch, and I'm going to start sauteing them down. It might sound like a lot of oil, but you are going to be using that oil. It's going to be in there the whole time for the frying process for everything, so in the long run it's not that much oil. So I'm going to get these cooked down and show you what it looks like. The recipe time-wise says heat 6 tablespoons of oil in pan, add onions. Fry on high heat for about 12 minutes until light brown, just basically till they start caramelizing. So 12 minutes, and we will get back to this and get to the next step. My onions have become nice and, well, they're starting to brown, but not there yet. The bottom is the pan is starting to stick a little bit. I added a little bit of water to it and loosened it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the next step, which is turning it on the low and adding right here again to light brown. Lower heat to low, add ginger and garlic paste and fry for 2 minutes. So it's going to be 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. So give that a stir. And in case you don't know, biryani is, well, it's just your Pakistani chicken and rice. And chicken and rice is probably the most popular dish around the world. There's, Americans have chicken and rice. There's all sorts of chicken and rice in Chinese cuisine. The national food of Belize is a steamed chicken and rice. You can find it everywhere, every continent has some sort of chicken and rice. Biryani is probably the most quintessential dish of Pakistan. It's eaten everywhere. There are different flavors, different recipes for the different areas of the country. That's why I got 2 different recipes that I'm kind of combining, as I'm trying to do a medium one, that's gonna have all the elements of biryani, but more than just one area, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So this is a very popular dish. I know it's served a lot in Indian restaurants, Pakistani restaurants around the world, as well as just, in the homes of people from the Southeast Asia area, Southern Asia. And it's chicken and rice, so you really can't go wrong with that. Chicken is not expensive, rice is not expensive. The ingredients here are really not all that expensive for the things that are going in it, even spice-wise. Now granted, I didn't have this on the shelf, so I have to buy a whole jar to make this one recipe, but I'm sure I'm going to do more Indian or Pakistani cooking and use that. The other ingredients, the cardamom pods and the cloves, I had that from when I did an Indian butter chicken recipe that I did a while back for myself before I started the channel, so that one's not on the channel. So I have some of the ingredients there already, but there's a big investment in here because I had to buy a jar of this and I had to buy a bottle of the kewra water and things like that, but I'll have more for the next time I do a recipe. So it's not that involved to get into it, to make something like this. It's a staple. So that has been 2 minutes. Next step is return to high heat, add chicken and potatoes and fry for 2 to 3 minutes. So with chicken, like I say, it was just a regular thigh. The butcher took the skin off for me and chopped it in half through the bone. So these are just half of chicken thighs. And I went ahead and I trimmed off some of the excess fat. That's 2 pounds. In this case, it was 4 thighs. And I say 2 regular potatoes or 4 smaller potatoes cut into large chunks. And give that a stir. Let this go for 2 to 3 more minutes. And then I'll be back with the next step. Next step is to add a splash of water and the masala mixture. Drop the heat to medium. I've already dropped it. And continue frying for another 3 minutes. And then the next step. Really should have had a bigger pan for this, but that's all my mom had. Drop the temp down to low. Next step is going to be add your tomatoes. I'm also going to throw in the peppers at this point. Stir these in. This is going to cook, it says for 4 to 5 minutes until the tomatoes are tender. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to go quite a bit longer than that. So I'm going to cook these down and I'll get back to you in just a moment. The tomatoes have softened up, so it's time for the next step, which is to add the yogurt, if you were adding yogurt, the cilantro, and the mint. If you were adding yogurt, you would stir it in and let it cook for about 3 minutes. What you're looking for is the oil to separate after you mix it in from the yogurt, and then once it is separated, you can go ahead and cover it for the next step, which we didn't add yogurt, so we can skip that part. Next step is going to leave it on low I'm gonna cover it and let it cook for 20 to 25 minutes. So get the timer started there. And now we can start on the rice. So I've got, the only next biggest pot that I had was this big old stock pot. I've got 2.5 liters, which is 2 3/4 quarts. So I'm gonna turn on the, let's see, the front element large on high. Gonna bring that up to a boil. I'm gonna go ahead and drain the rice over here real quick. And, well, go ahead and add this and I can go ahead and drain it. Into the water is gonna go 2 pieces of cinnamon, about 2 inches, 4 cloves, 4 green cardamom pods, and 2.5 tablespoons of salt. Once that salt almost comes to a boil and the salt is dissolved, go ahead and add the rice. Only cook the rice for about 8 to 9 minutes until it's about 75% cooked. You do not want to cook it fully through. So once it comes up to a boil, I'll put the rice in. Alright, 20 minutes in. Chicken is definitely done. Potatoes are done. So now it's going to cook uncovered for 10 to 15 minutes. You just want to get this thickened up. Let this evaporate off and come to a gravy. And then it's time to assemble the finished product. Final step is going to be the assembly. I've got the masala here. I've got the rice over here. And I've got the heaviest bottomed pan that we have. You're going to want to use a heavy bottom pan. It says, I don't know, I've never done this before. Going to start with a layer of rice. You kind of want to be gentle with this. Basmati is a delicate rice. So instead of packing it in, you just kind of want to push it around. Because this is a more narrow of a pot, go ahead, I'm going to pull the cinnamon stick out. The other cinnamon stick out. Cardamom pod. So I'm just going to push her around gently. And follow that with a layer of the masala. Kind of hard to do from this side of the counter because it's a reach for me. Oops. Take also that pepper out of there. Now you can do it in 2 layers, just rice, chicken rice, but because I got a tall, narrow pot, I'm doing 3 layers. Almost lasagna-ish-esque. And you're going to follow it up with the rest of the masala. Minus the pepper. There's the third pepper, most of it. Same thing, give it a spread out. And the last layer of rice. I'm going to add to that, this is an option, it's kewra water. It's a rose water, or like a rose water. Just going to do, whoops, 2 capfuls. sprinkle on top. And then the 10 to 15 mint leaves reserved. I'm going to go ahead and cover this, put it on low for 7 to 8 minutes, and I'm going to go shut the burner off and let it rest for 20. Alright, it is rested for 20 minutes. Now you're supposed to fold gently to combine. Again, you're trying to combine it without damaging the rice too much. So folding, you're just kind of coming to the bottom and bringing the spoon up to the top. And that, I guess, is what chicken biryani is supposed to look like. It's time to get me a plate here. See if I can find some chicken. There's some chicken. A little more chicken. And that, oops, is, I guess, chicken biryani. I don't know, but it's the best chicken biryani I've ever made. So I'm gonna get a taste of this here and see what it's like. Well, I think this smells wonderful. My dad doesn't like the way it smells. I know he wouldn't like the way it tastes. So he's over there having a bowl of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. So let me get a taste here. Yeah, that was with potato. Get some of this chicken. A little bit of cardamom came out of there. That is good. I like this. Very flavorful. Very pungent. Not as hot as I expected. I like this. I like this a lot. So I can honestly say that this is not only the best biryani I've ever had, it's the best biryani I've ever made. And again, it's the first time I've ever had or made biryani, so I'm gonna give this a thumbs up. I'm gonna take a plate of this down to the business where the gal who gave me one of the recipes is. Have her give it a try, and hopefully I'll do a little text over if she likes it or not, but I'll let you know. But I'm gonna shut up and start eating. Have a great day. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to try this recipe, go ahead, knock yourself out. Try these international recipes. You'd surprise yourself on how good some of this food from around the world can be. Not hard to do. Chicken and rice is everywhere, so this would be a simple dish to start with. And make sure you subscribe, hit that notification button if you want to see more videos when they come out. And thank you for watching. Have a great night and enjoy your supper.